remote work is fantastic. It's amazing what you can do. At the same time, we talk about this all the time, 2 steps forward in convenience. You better keep up with security and operations and policies at the same time.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Incident Report presented by Quest Technology Management. I'm Paul Burke, Director of Technology Communications, and every week I'm joined by VP of Sales and Partnerships, Adam Burke. The Incident Report brings you conversations with thought leaders, business innovators, and channel mavericks to help you stay productive and agile in a changing technology landscape. Today, Adam and I discuss the top headlines regarding channel opportunities, partnerships, and ransomware. Hey Adam, how's it going?
Good, Paul. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Super Bowl hangover. Hope everyone's having a solid Monday morning out there in the metaverse.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, Adam. Thank you for reminding me of that. I need to go buy some flowers.
Yeah, you should. I mean, personally, I think it's a little bit of a universe setup for all men out there, being the day after the Super Bowl. Tough go there. So I hope everyone's good luck with that.
So let this be your reminder, everybody. It is Valentine's Day. So if you're driving home and have nothing in your hands, pull over and get something. Adam and I, we wanted to talk about a couple of news stories we think are really important that will be helpful. And the first one is coming from Channel Insider. It is entitled The Channel Outlook for 2022. Get ready for major change. This is by Drew Robb, and we will have a link to the article in the comment section. And we will have a link to the article in the description. It begins. Here's everything you need to know about the dramatically changing channel business model and how to reposition your business to take advantage of upcoming opportunities. The big headline, services will be the next big opportunity. Jay McBain, a channel analyst at Forrester Research, counts the world economy at being worth $86 trillion. Quick sidebar here. Adam, that seems like a very challenging job to be tasked with coming up with the world economy value.
Paul, in the world of economics, it is the art of explaining why your forecasts today were inaccurate about what you forecasted yesterday, while at the same time forecasting what will happen tomorrow. Basically, it's nonsense, but it's cool to talk in big numbers. So it's all good. There's huge opportunities out there. Personally, I have a tough time wrapping my brain around $86 trillion, but we're doing good.
Adam, get ready for more challenging numbers to wrap your mind around. The IT spending pie is destined to get a whole lot bigger, doubling in size to $7 trillion by the end of the decade. But the size of the channel slice will stay stagnant around $2.2 trillion as marketplaces and direct grow much quicker. Per Forrester numbers, there will be a roughly even split between the channel, direct sales, and marketplaces. But perhaps most importantly, McBain predicts that 90% of IT sales will be partner assisted before, during, and after the sale. So opportunity will still be there in the form of services and co-innovation.
That is just such a pleasant way of describing that disintermediation is about to happen in a big way to the channel. Disintermediation, SAT word, fantastic. Basically what it means is if you're the middleman and you're acting as a reseller or a transaction facilitator, what that little nugget you just shared there, Paul, has told you is that the market's going to grow by a significant amount, but the people in the middle are not. So the whole kind of services concept here is basically saying you better figure out a way to be valuable and relevant to your customers, or you could be in a rough go.
One more time for the people in the back row of the classroom. What's that word?
Disintermediation.
Got it. Another way of saying, uh-oh.
The cheese has moved, my friend.
The cheese has moved. The emergence of marketplaces.
Marketplaces is a nice way. So in that article, if you guys check out this Channel Insider, and marketplaces is a nice kind of Tech Valley, Silicon Valley, smiley speak way of saying, hey, you guys who used to help us sell these licenses, you're not necessary anymore. We're going to put together these marketplaces where your customers can easily click, consume, download, and basically acquire services directly from Azure, Adobe, Salesforce, AWS, IBM, Google Cloud, SAP, Workday, Dell, and there's about 30 other vendors on here that that customers can easily purchase and subscribe to those services. None of that stuff's necessarily going to work. So the article is really powerful in the sense of saying like, hey, people are going to be able to buy stuff easier. So if your value to the whole value chain of people consuming technology is you help them buy stuff, and you're not Google or AWS or IBM or one of the large guys, you better figure out how to help them make it work. Because if you don't, what this article is really telling you is things are taking off, subscriptions are taking off, acquisitions are taking off, and ease of acquiring the technology is taking off. You better help add value or help the ability to execute if you want to kind of stay relevant.
And so and part of the article says Forrester predicts that by the end of the decade, there will be 20 winning platforms that will take up 80% of the marketplace opportunity. And the other 20% of the marketplace opportunity will go to niche players, in line with what you were saying, that these marketplaces are going to be gobbling up a lot of the business.
The marketplaces people are going to kind of find who they like to subscribe to. People ask it all the time, hey, are you a Microsoft stack? Are you a Google stack? Are you where do you fall? There are going to be, and what we've seen successfully in the SaaS world is industry specific niche players who are supporting a certain part of the market, right? So mortgage processing companies, right? So everyone knows about the Ellie Mae story. Ellie Mae is a huge SaaS offering. They offer what's called Encompass software out there to start out with Wells Fargo, and now they control a significant amount of the mortgage origination and validation process for the financial institutions. They're a pretty specific SaaS offering. That would be a platform, if you will, and then you have all the other like major ones out there: Microsoft, Google, AWS, IBM, folks like that. So they're more generalists. They're not specific to one industry. You could have mortgage origination, you could have financial services built on Oracle Financials, you could have SAP. Those are platforms, whereas you can also have organizations that are specific SaaS offerings.
I see. So Rob continues with partner up. What does all this mean for the channel? Partner up, because 90% of IT's $7 trillion in spending will be partner assisted, says McBain. Microsoft, always a strong channel advocate with 90% of its business flowing there, is now talking about 96% of its revenue being partner assisted. Azure may only be at 30% though through the channel, but it's growing 50% per quarter. It too targets 96% partner assisted. There's a lot of numbers, but at the end of the day, it pretty much says, hey, partner assistance seems to be what this article is suggesting, what's the predominant growth opportunity.
The big opportunity is a lot of these organizations want to scale. But every customer is a little bit different. Every customer wants their applications delivered in a certain way, and calling into a massive platform conglomerate kind of organization like a AWS or a Microsoft, they're not necessarily going to engage with SMB or middle or even enterprise companies on helping them make their applications and their services function on their platform. They're there to provide the platform because they can scale to massive data centers all over, do all sorts of cool capabilities around the globe. But executing on those individual capabilities, that where they're saying partner up is, hey, partner with organizations that are providing the beans and bullets to the enterprise, right? They're providing the CPU, they're providing the storage, they're providing the bandwidth. How are you putting all those parts and pieces together? There's a huge opportunity. More and more people are flocking to cloud service providers, but actually helping those organizations that are moving to cloud service providers execute and operate. The large folks aren't going to do that. They're not going to spend time trying to get Sally's application. There was a great NFL commercial, Sally sells seashells down by the seashore, that one about, I think it was a Workday commercial, or no, it wasn't Workday.
I didn't see that one.
It was the first break, man. It was the first break. It was when they were bringing out their high rollers.
I'm not going to lie. I think I was busy getting food.
Fair enough. I think it was a Squarespace or one of the web features. It was about a woman who was selling obviously stuff, and then it talked about how she scaled her business on this website application. Where they're saying partner up is someone like her would need an IT partner to help her put all those parts and pieces together. Just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean it works from a native standpoint. Doesn't mean out of the box it fits your business.
I
So
see.
this huge growth in platforms and adoption and moving things to the cloud, you still need a partner who's going to help you turn the wrenches, operate it, secure it, take responsibility for monitoring, maintaining, and managing it. Whatever it is, it's just on someone else's computer now. It still needs to be maintained and it still needs to be supported.
These numbers blew me away in the article, which ties into the partners, what you're discussing. The software ecosystem is exploding. 10 years ago, there were only 10,000 software companies. Now there are 175,000. In 10 years, there will be 1 million software as a service companies. Microsoft already has about 500,000 partners. It adds 400 every day. IBM is only slightly behind, adding 120,000 partners each year.
Yeah, and so Andreessen Horowitz, they came up with a plan, like the one of the reasons they're multi-billion, probably trillion, I don't know, they're a huge fund, VC fund. Software eats the world, right? So software is eating the world, right? So everything is becoming software, and those numbers are a good example of it. But the thing is, where the opportunity still lies, I believe, is that software as a service companies, right? Software as a service companies, those applications still have to work with other services within those organizations. So more and more people are creating these software as a service organizations and platforms that has to integrate with everything else that makes up an organization, right? It has to integrate with their people, has to integrate with their processes, has to integrate with their security. As these services explode, so does the opportunity to help manage, monitor, support, and integrate. Yeah, they're facilitating a need that's either being driven by the consumer or businesses, and they're trying to make it easier, better, and faster for people to get things done. But at the same time, that has to tie into the rest of the business.
The article goes on to talk about some growth opportunities and new service areas. Do you want to kind of dive into those? We'll talk about each one of those.
Sure. Yeah. You're talking about like the MSP summaries around backup as a service and DR, things like that.
They mention remote work and data protection, security.
Sounds good.
So as customers often expect or hope their MSPs will meet their latest needs, think ransomware, there's plenty of opportunity, if not a requirement, for MSPs to expand their offerings. So some areas with high potential include remote work. So the author here is mentioning remote work. Gartner forecasts that the number of users for desktop as a service would grow by over 150% between 2020 and 2023, but not all virtual desktops are the same. Some require heavy involvement from internal IT staff and the company to purchase and deploy all its own devices. So remote work is the number one growth opportunity on this list.
Well, yeah, I mean, that comes from everything that we saw shift over the past 2 years. So remote work is certainly something that service providers, you got to pick what platform you want to host your virtual desktops on. Do you want to do it in a private instance? Do you want to do it in Azure? Do you want to do it in AWS or Google? How do you want to support your remote workers? And then how do you want to secure them, right? How do you want to manage the assets that are actually on site at the home office? How are you going to support emergency services for your workforce in the event they have an emergency? If you're providing a phone system for them, how are you going to provide E911 services, right? So E911 is a huge liability for the enterprise out there for remote workforces, because when someone dials from a local residence to emergency services, those emergency services have to know where that person is. Remote work is fantastic. It's amazing what you can do helping people operate and work from anywhere that they want to. At the same time, we talk about this all the time, 2 steps forward in convenience, you better keep up with security and operations and policies at the same time. That's where there's huge opportunities in the partner world to maintain, update, and continue to support a workforce wherever it is.
This number 2 right here is data protection. Data protection doesn't get the attention it deserves. If as a channel professional, you are seeing crowded markets, step back, look around, and see where the crowd is not. You might find a goldmine of opportunity. Anything data protection related is very much in demand right now. From business resiliency to cyber resiliency, backup and security to core and endpoint protection, along with associated management tools for automation.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great point. And you know what, we focus on execution all the time, right? There's tons of tools out there. There are tons of assets available at IT's fingertips. the gold mine, he's saying the gold mine here is around that data protection. Data protection is the outcome of those tools. It's the outcome, it's the operational outcome of that investment. So what are you doing around cyber resiliency? Did you buy a tool? Great. How are you monitoring and managing it? How are you tuning it, right? You have backups? Fantastic. When's the last time you tested them? You have security in place? Fantastic. How far can someone get how far laterally can someone move in your environment if they do get in, right? We talk about, that daily practice. What I love about what he said there, and I don't know why people don't just I'm kind of a crayon guy. I kind of try to keep things very, very simple. This is operational. This is actually executing on your investment. The investment's one part of it. The daily operation is the other part of it. And that's where I think there's a huge opportunity for the channel to actually leverage the tools that are being built out there, and that's getting all the investment dollars and the mergers and acquisitions and things that we're seeing out in the market. All those things: endpoint protection, management of the tools, automations, backup and recovery, security, the ability to help manage, deploy, and operate those tools. That's the holy grail, if you will, for MSPs.
And third, security is obviously a hot area. The quickly evolving threat landscape opens new opportunities for MSPs to differentiate themselves by adding cyber threat protection and detection services to their offerings. Modern cloud native technologies are simplifying management and lowering costs of such services, helping MSPs integrate them easily into their stack.
Yeah, and that came from a chief marketing officer. So there are two clients out there for technology. There's the end user, and then MSPs like Quest and some of our partners, we're consumers too. So there are vendors out there who are trying to motivate and inspire and say, hey, you should invest in this technology stack, invest here because of the potential opportunity for your clients. They're competing for MSP's business at the same time. And that's, where are you going to differentiate yourself? How are you going to go pursue the market? The next paragraph in the article talks about how there are 500,000 VARs and 75,000 MSPs, right? That's an amazing amount of MSPs and VARs in the landscape around the country. I've never met 75,000 MSPs or 500,000 VARs, but that's a huge marketplace for these vendors as well.
It also mentions there are only 10,000 MSSPs.
That's true. Taking on security, so being an MSSP, I mean, we've been doing cybersecurity since early 2000s, like 2000, I think 99, 2000, 2001. It's a significant requirement to take on the monitoring, updating, patching, notification of an organization. It's a pretty heavy lift to go through that. It's not a simple slam dunk easy offering to jump into. And I mean, we partner with VARs and MSPs all around the country who need help standing up their own process or just want to leverage kind of things that we've already built.
That's a great point. There's one more thing. I found this really interesting. Google and Apple have both announced that they are ending cookies, as they represent 96% of web browsing search and the bulk of mobile sharing. This throws a wrench in the works of channel marketers that have come on to rely on cookies to do their customer tracking. Obviously, this is a play by these companies to make everyone more reliant on them, but there are ways around it. And I thought this was a really great point. And that ties back to the partnership trend noted above. With a broad partnership ecosystem in place, the channel can continue to own all the key moments of the sales cycle without reliance on cookies as an assistance.
Yeah, this is the same reason. I mean, Apple charges serious royalties for any developers who want to be in their ecosystem. I mean, it's just a control play, right? If money's not the answer, can you repeat the question? These guys are constantly figuring out a way to monetize what they have. They've figured out how to tie all licensing back to being able to be tracked. They've been able to see all utilization. It's the money play. This is a significant shift in the way marketers are going to have access to data, and basically it's a pay to play kind of game, right? So it's a great thing to be aware of. I think Rob did a fantastic summary here of some big shifts that are coming up in the channel.
It's a great article. Our next article comes to us from channel E2E. Cisco has offered to acquire Splunk for $20 billion, though the two companies are not in active merger acquisition talks. The Wall Street Journal is reporting. So Splunk
Yeah.
is struggling a little bit, having recently lost their chief marketing officer and their CEO switch. So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened. I heard this on Friday afternoon, forwarded it to a couple folks internally at Quest. We've been a Cisco Gold Partner, MSSP, Advanced Collaboration Organization for a long time. We've been partnered with Cisco 20 plus years. So we always kind of get the alerts on these kind of things when they're out there. This would be interesting because Cisco's been heavily trying to transition, at least in Wall Street speak, to more of a software company. Right now, I think they have about 3% of their revenues in that subscription-based game, and this would be a huge shift because Splunk has successfully been transitioning their services business to a cloud-based subscription. So this would be a big purchase for Cisco and a big kind of shift to helping them get on track for their goals. I think they want to be 20% reoccurring revenue subscription-based model within the next year or two. I think they mentioned that in one of their calls last year. But yeah, this would be a pretty significant shift for the Cisco world.
Yeah, so we'll keep you updated what happens there. A couple other little stories, Adam, as if it wasn't hurtful enough for the Niners, the San Francisco 49ers, to lose and not have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Apparently, they have been hit by a black bite ransomware attack. The San Francisco 49ers recently became aware of a network security incident that resulted in the temporary disruption to certain systems in our corporate IT network. Upon learning of this incident, we immediately initiated an investigation and took steps to contain the incident. Third-party cybersecurity firms were engaged to assist. The law enforcement was notified.
Yeah, that was big news. That was interesting to see. I don't know if they lost any data. Did they mention anything about that?
The leaked data is 292 megabytes archive of files that the threat actors say are stolen 2020 invoices from the 49ers network.
Well, I mean, it hits everybody. It's just a good example of, I'm a huge Niner fan, love the Niners. These kind of things do happen. Sounds like they were well aware of it and they were able to maybe recover or respond to the threat. Sounds like they're dealing with it. And I was bummed to see them lose that game. And also the hits keep coming when looks like they got a little bit sniped by some malware as well.
And also our most important article today. Listen, if you recently ordered flowers or lingerie and you got a confirmation order and thought, oh, good, this is a sincere confirmation order, I warn you, do not click, because according to this article by Silanda, pre-Valentine's Day email attacks mimic flower and lingerie store sales. With Valentine's Day approaching this weekend, several people received recent order email confirmations for flowers or lingerie. These emails are part of a new spear phishing attack, which include a malicious attached PDF that delivers Baza loader malware payload. It's a phishing ransomware attack. Watch out.
Yeah, that's kind of two things, because what if like you didn't order it and then you got it, or like your significant other sees like some lingerie confirmation or flower confirmation and they haven't received any lingerie confirmation? I mean, that's not only are you losing access to your data, you're having you got some splaining to do at the same time.
You're losing access to a relationship as well as data.
Yes, you're getting crypto lockered on a few fronts, my friend. Yeah, so.
What a great episode. So Adam, thanks for joining us today for the incident report. I don't know a better way to end this episode.
I don't know either. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. And yeah, we'll do this again. Thanks, Paul.
See you next week. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. The Incident Report is brought to you by Quest Technology Management. With over 40 years of experience, Quest is a leading technology integrator working seamlessly with your staff and systems to achieve your IT goals. Learn more about everything they do at questsys.com. And if you have questions or suggestions for the podcast, you can always email Adam and myself at theincidentreport@questsys.com. Links are in the description. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.